Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Batman issue number 108. Listen, I believe that Tynion is one of the absolute hands down best writers out there, but and I'm talking Marvel and DC, But that being said, sometimes even the best writer just doesn't quite pull off what I think he's trying to pull off. That said, I still appreciate the hell out of this comic book, and I'm going to see this through to the end of this arc and see what he's got coming after that because it's Tynion. Anyways, guys, let's talk about who made this comic book and move on from there. I may have already spoiled this. James Tynion IV does the writing for this comic book. This issue is called The Cowardly Lot. George Jimenez on art and Tomio Morey doing the colors. Clayton Cowles doing the Sans VC, doing the letters. And Jimenez and Morey do the cover. A bunch of other people out there doing stuff, including Riccardo Federici on the 1 in 25 variant cover, but Stanley Art Germ Lau doing the variant. Bro, I didn't see that. And also, yay, Stanley Art Germ Lau is still freaking alive. I know this sounds stupid, but I haven't heard of this guy, hide nor hair, in a really long time. Anyway, I've mentioned it before in other videos. I'm nervous. What happened to this guy? Did he quit? Don't quit. So, anyway, this basically has Batman in more than one place, but it's probably throughout time because he's kind of lost. This is like a time displaced issue, or it's not. Maybe instead it's a case where the person, like I said, the person who's caught in there isn't actually Batman. He just thinks he's Batman or something, But either way, no matter what's going on, the idea is that Batman is actually disguised in here. And I mean, as soon as they say that it's a disguise, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, cool. So that means it's obviously Batman, right? And it takes until the end of the freaking comic book for us to for them to finally say who it is. Now, the problem with it is, like I said, I feel like we all guessed it already. So to have that, fulfilled, and it's like, yeah, duh. Oh my God. You know what it's like? It's like seeing somebody like your friend. You ever drive and you're driving and you look on the side of the street and see somebody walking, you're like, wait, is that my bud? And then you see your bud, and it's like, holy crap. So you pull over, but you can't pull up next to him because it took you a while to realize who it was, and you have to find a safe way to pull. You can't just stop. You got to brake. And you wind up being a little bit in front of the guy, and you turn around, you tap the horn, you're like, hey, you wind up, hey, come on, get a ride. And he just looks at, and the courtesy when somebody's stopping to pick you up is you jog. Even if you can't because you're tired or something like that, you still you pick your knees up a little more and you continue walking at the same pace, but you act like you're, lean forward, act like you're at least moving. Jesus, this guy, when you have a friend who just oh, hey, what's up? And he just keeps on walking towards you. It's like, is he going to get in the car? Is he going to keep on walking? I don't feel like being on the shoulder of the freaking road the whole time. Will you get in the goddamn car? No, hurry up. It's just but he doesn't. It's like, you're on your own. You just drive off. Nobody does that, but you're on your own. That's what this kind of feels like. It's like, dude, it took a moment, but I realize it's you. Will you just hurry up and get in the freaking car? And by the time they finally does, it's like, hey, what the frick was that? I'm tired, man. Common courtesies. And in this case, this was beating a dead horse. So the question is, who is in the Scarecrow's chair, right? Like I said, I don't think that's actually Batman, but if it is, then okay, it's Batman. And that just means that this is out of time. Whatever, I'm cool with it. Maybe we'll find out it's actually Alfred. How cool would that be? Maybe it's Jim Ross. Jim Ross. What the hell is Jim Ross? Anyway, Commissioner Gordon. There we go. Maybe it's Commissioner Gordon. At the end of the day, I don't know. This whole thing is just weird. I hate the idea that Infinite Frontier issue number 0 set the tone for everything that's going to happen in these comic books. It's like in a different issue of a different comic book, that's where we find out that these things happen. And this isn't even like one of the Crisis books. This is just so whatever, man. I hate when they do that. Don't start making decisions for writers. Don't do stuff like that. Oh, Gotham went to hell because such and such happened. First off, hasn't enough crappy things happened to Gotham? You need to add fuel to the fire? What are you, a bunch of sadists? But on top of that, if it's something that's happening specifically to Gotham, and Gotham's the only place that's actually being affected by it, there's no reason for you to be writing about it. It should be done in the Batman book. And if Tynion agrees to it, then so be it. Otherwise, I don't see how this actually benefits anything. They keep referring back to an event that has had zero weight, zero bearing in the Batman verse. It's not even being mentioned in the Detective Comics. And then over here, it's mentioned a couple times. There's a little asterisk to say, hey, over here in this book. And it's like, okay, that's the right thing to do. But I don't notice anything different with Gotham after the freaking bomb thing, the explosion thing. I see no difference. I see nothing. So what was the point of it? Right? Anyway, guys, the Molly Miracle character is not, like, we get to explore her in this, and it's not an in-your-face character. It's not a character that's trying to be like, I'm the next big deal. It's nothing like that. It's just a girl, and she's got some things going on, and she's not really a bad guy. If she is, it's one of those middle of the lines. This might be one of those situations where, like I've mentioned in several other reviews, we always have anti-heroes, but what's an anti-villain? Maybe this is the first anti-villain, because she's not interesting per se, not yet. Hopefully she will be at some point. She's just this kid who seems to know everything, and the know-it-all youths, I can assure you that is not the way to go, because even know-it-all youths are not going to look at this and say, yeah, it makes sense that she would be able to figure out this character who's the ultimate enigma, Batman. Can she also recognize that Clark Kent with his glasses off is actually Superman? Bendis made sure that it doesn't matter, but you get what I'm saying. This Molly Miracle isn't, thank God she's not this over-the-top character like Punchline was, apparently pushed off to be. And now she's not in the comic books at all. But instead she seems to be one of those characters who seems to be blending in. And especially with that ridiculously gaudy outfit, that's not easy to do. Is this going to be a good thing? Is it going to be a bad thing? We have to keep on reading to figure it out. But right now I'm not enjoying this book as much as I thought. A lot of what happened here was very confusing. For somebody who hasn't missed an issue in a while, it's like, come on, man. This shouldn't happen. I shouldn't feel confused when I'm reading a comic book, that even so much so that even when I get to the end of the comic book, I'm like, so what exactly did I just read? And then the Ghost Maker story. I can't even tell if it's a good story or not, because I'm too transfixed on looking at this art and just saying, this is not what I signed up for. I'm sorry. It's childish looking art. And I'm sure it's a choice, as opposed to this is the only way I know how to draw. If it's the only way that the guy in here knows how to draw, I forget his, I should go and tell you his name. Everybody deserves credit. Ricardo Lopez Ortiz, with Tomio Morey doing the colors and Clayton Cowles doing the letters. If this is the only way that Ortiz knows how to draw, then I think that this is DC's fault, editorial's fault, for putting him on this story in this book, because I'm sure there are plenty of other stories out there that would benefit from this particular art style, but this story does not benefit from it at all. It makes the story look childish. This probably would have worked in the Shazam in Funland story. This art would have probably worked really good for that, but here it just simply does not. So I can't even make myself read this Ghostmaker story. I'll get a couple of words and I'm just like, I turn the page. What the hell happened? I'm trying to read a couple pages here. I can't even get through a whole sentence. I'm like, dude, there were only four words in that sentence too. And I'm just like, I don't care. That's a shame. That's a horrible, terrible mistake, a terrible mismatch to put this artist on this particular story. You have to play to your, and this is a leadership call, you know? There are plenty of times that they teach us in the military, maybe you're not the right person for the job. So you find the right person for the job and you have that person do the thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not even just about delegation. It's about maybe you need to find somebody better than you to delegate to this individual because this guy doesn't like you. And at the end of the day, he's never going to do to your satisfaction what you want him to do. But if you can make somebody else tell him, somebody else who would have authority, suddenly he might be willing to do it. And it might wind up being a bang up job. So there's that. Anyway, guys, that's really all I got. Like the video, watch an ad, and I'm really hoping that this story gets a whole lot better. All of these stories get a whole lot better, because right now it just feels like it's a placeholder. All right, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.